Okay, so we are, I'm going to talk about this real quick, and then I'll talk about number 2. What do you need? Okay, so we have been solving quadratics using 2 methods. What are those 2 methods that we've used? Factoring and square roots, okay? So sometimes we have equations that can't be factored, or we can't use square roots. So we have another method that we're going to talk about today. So this method comes from taking ax squared plus bx plus c, the standard form. This is going to be hard to follow, but I just need you to see that this doesn't come out of the blue. It's not magical. If we add a negative c to both sides, and then factored out an a, when you factor out an a, you have to get a b over a here. I know that's confusing. And then if we take that both sides and divide it by a, this is what we get. And then if we complete the square, so the completing the square here on is this step, which is a hard one to follow. But anyway, we're completing the square from here to here. And then when we complete the square, we can make this a square on the left-hand side. And then it's equal to, if we simplify this, b squared minus 4ac over 4a squared. If we then square root both sides, this is what we get. And then if we solve for x, this is what we get. Okay, so this just doesn't come from anywhere. It is something that is derived from a quadratic. So what's that called? Anybody recognize it? You saw it in Algebra 1. Starts with a Q.
Quadratic formula.
Yes, this is a quadratic formula. So we're going to use that today. So let's talk about what you did on number 2. What did you get for your answer on number 2, this first one? 1. Okay, so if I'm looking at that, could I take a 5 out of all of these numbers? Yeah, so if I took a 5 out of all of these, this would be -1. This would become 2. And this would become 1. So if I do that, then I get 1 over 1, which is still 1. So I can do that. If I can take a number out of all of them, then I can do that. It works. What about this one? Can we simplify this here? Is there a number I can take? There's nothing outside of the square root. I can't take something inside the square root. Is there anything outside the square root there? No, so there's nothing I can divide out of all of those. So that's as far as you can go. Is there anything I can factor out of all 3 of these numbers? There isn't, is there? So 7 plus 6 is 13 over 7. So my question is, could I cancel out the 7 and the 7? Would I come up with the same answer? No. So, So the middle one, it isn't possible to simplify it. That's right. What's that? There's nothing to simplify. So it says simplify if possible, so not possible. Right. So only if we can take a number out of all of them, because the only time we can cancel is, say this was 7 times 6 over 7, then I could cancel. And then this would be 6. But it's not, it's a plus. So that plus is the problem there. So the only way I could cancel is if I can cancel all 3. So you're going to use that with what we're doing today. You want to see if you can cancel anything out of all 3 of them. Okay, so we're going to solve using the quadratic formula. So here's an equation. Change it. Change both 3 and 4, please. Okay, so we want it to be in standard form. Ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Is this in standard form? Yeah, it's equal to 0, right? And then this is in order, n squared, n, and a number. So yes, it's in standard form. So what are my a and my b and my c? My A is the coefficient in front of the n squared, which is 2. What is B? -3. And what is C? -7. So now we're going to take it and put it into the quadratic formula. So I'm going to rewrite it here. You have it on the top of your paper.
Oh, I remember doing this.
Okay, so now we're going to take these and put them into this here. So it's not hard, there's just a lot of steps. So it's the opposite of B, so it's an N in this case. The opposite of -3. When we take the opposite of -3, what's it going to be? 3, that's right. So now we're going to take the square root, and that's B squared. So it's -3 squared minus 4 times A, which is 2, times C, which is -7. All over 2A, which would be 2 times 2. Do I need to put parentheses around this -3?
Where?
This parentheses, do I need to do that?
Yeah.
Will I get a different answer if I don't put it in parentheses?
Yeah.
I will. So you have to put parentheses. When you go to put that in your calculator, you need to do that. So if you need to get a calculator, get a calculator. This is where most of the mistakes are made, so I need you to simplify that on your calculator.
I got water.
So why are you simplifying this? Use your calculator. Get a calculator if you need to, because I don't. You just watching me put it in my calculator doesn't help you. You've got to be able to do it. So I want you to tell me what you get when you simplify this highlighted part here.
Wow.
Oh, you just have to say I can math for us. AI generator replacement. I mean, like, this is a very teacher. Because they don't have static success teaching. And then AI will be able to AI and you can broke my calculator now. It's stuck.
Okay, so everyone should be doing this right now. What do you get for what's inside this square root? You can't do it here, and then you're not gonna be able to do it on your homework paper. So you need to simplify that now. What do you get for what's inside that square root? What would you get?
I don't know. Is it 65? Is it 65?
65. Okay, so I'm going to give you a minute or two to help each other on that. You should get a 65. So some of you, that's a problem today, putting it into the calculator.
I got error.
Be sure you're putting parentheses around this -3. And then a minus and a negative are two different buttons. This is a negative, this is a minus, this is a negative. So make sure you know on your calculator which is the negative and which is the minus button.
On my calculator, it says 12 plus square root 65.
I'm not sure where you're getting.
I got the same thing. Is it 9 minus 4? Is it 9 minus 4? Did you not say 4? Oh,
Times 7. Oh my God, look at that. Right?
So,
Yeah.
oh my God, 55. Yeah, that was -7.
Oh my Lord.
So what'd you do with the 4?
Times it by 2. Oh my God, okay, so it's 4 times 2.
Drawing of that.
9. 8 times 7. Okay. And then what's 56 plus 9? Oh my God, what's that?
No, actually, I don't know. I multiplied something good. It was like 24.
Okay, on to number 4. Is number 4 in
No.
standard form?
No.
What is it? Somebody at this group here, what is it that we need to do to get it in standard form? Add 9 to both sides. So we add 9, and we get 3k squared plus k plus 9 is 0. Tell me what A, B, and C are. Ariella, what are A, B, and C?
A is 3. B is 1.
Yep. So now we're going to put it into the quadratic formula. Derek, do that for us. Yep, -1. Okay. And then on the bottom is 2 times. Did you say 2 times 3? Yep. Okay, so now simplify what's inside that radical there. That's where most of the mistakes happen.
So see that
You should get a -107 inside that square root.
107.
What's up?
Don't you say
Thank you. I thank you for my imperial. My bill.
I got it. -107.
Yes. So what can we do with this? We learned something about negatives in the square root. What do we do with that?
You take it out. It's an I.
And it becomes an I. So this is -1 plus or minus I square root 107 over 6.
Oh yeah, we know.
So just put it in your calculator like that. You don't have to do all that simplifying. Just put this in your calculator. 1 squared minus 4 times 3 times 9. That's all you're doing. Yeah.
You have to put square.
Are you having trouble finding where the square button is? Yeah.
Like I know.
Okay, so this is your final answer on this one. What this means, since we have that square root 107, that means that it didn't factor. So that wouldn't factor. We couldn't do that with factoring or square roots when we got that weird number like that. Okay. Okay, moving on to number 5. What are A, B, and C? Yeah, what are A, B, and C? Uh-huh. Yes. So we get, putting it into the quadratic formula, -2 plus or minus square root b squared 2 squared minus 4. Hey, Cohen, would you put the rest of the numbers in for us?
Yeah. 4 parentheses 5, and then -24.
Yep.
And then 2 parentheses 5.
Good. So now we want to simplify what's inside here. Anybody know where we go from here?
Oh,
What we want to do on this one is we want to look to see if can we take the square root of 484. So find that on your calculator. See if you can take the square root. Does it give you a whole number? It does. It's 22. So when we do this, when that square root simplifies and we get a whole number, then this is two different answers. It's the plus answer and the minus answer. So we take -2 plus 22 over 10, and we take -2 minus 22 over 10. This gives us 20 over 10, which is 2. And this one gives us -24 over 10, which is, what does that simplify? Yeah, good, -12 over 5. So -12 over 5 and 2 are our final answer. So make sure, if you can get to here, that you simplify it, because if you don't simplify it, you have a question, Brooklyn? Okay, you figured it out? Okay. Okay. So go ahead and do the U-try. Make sure you put it in standard form first, because it's not in standard form.
Wait, Ms. Casella? Do I have to simplify? No, that's right. I finished. But I don't know how to like simplify this
I know you're not talking. And then I have more lessons. I definitely have more lessons.
I need you doing your.
I just told you so. You're right here, long steps.
I hate that I should.
No, it's not.
I was talking about like that.
It's a style.
I know that's right. Exactly. Did I know? Oh yeah, I got you. Exactly. It's like just finish. Especially 25 is like that. You're distracted. So why are you going?
That's what I said.
She's like 10 pounds over here, so she's got like 10 more.
Single leg.
10 pounds? 10 pounds.
No, one leg though.
I can do more than 10. I can do more than 10. How are you already doing it or she already corrected me? She said she can do more. She put 10 for leg press. Yeah. Already have mistakes. Already have mistakes.
Okay, well, I know it's supposed to be positive. So late. Just let me finish.
So mean.
I know that I just put it in front of me.
No, not no.
No, it's a negative. It's supposed to be high.
I was going to do like press on go. Then I was just yeah, pull up.
339 something.
Are you kidding
Okay, it's too loud in here.
12 times 7 plus. Oh, minus 80. Minus 80. No, look at the paper. What is that? 9 squared.
I put 30. But where'd you get 225 for this?
That's 255.
But that's not. The thing is 255. Oh, minus.
Wait, what? Wait, I didn't. Oh, wait, never mind.
Okay, so this is what you should have gotten on number 6. Negative 9 plus or minus negative 255 over 24. A lot of little places to make mistakes on this. Not hard. It's just you have to be real careful. Just a lot of steps. Okay, last one. I'm going to go really quickly through number 7 because really it's the answer that I want to talk about. So what we get is negative 2 plus or minus the square root of, I believe that's 52 over 6. Can we simplify the square root of 52? Can we simplify the square root of 52?
I know what to do. Wow, you got it.
So I just went really fast on that because I want to talk about the answer. So yes, because 52 is the same as 2 times 26, 2 times 13. So this here is going to be negative 2 plus or minus 2 square root 13 over 6. And then we can divide everything by 2. So yes, that happens sometimes.
That's terrible. Is that going to be on a test?
Negative 1, it will be. So you are in algebra 2 now, so you might have a problem where that happens. What's that? Nope.